Hey everybody, welcome back to another world building bonus episode. This is one we'd planned a couple of weeks ago. This is our Gods and Shrines episode. I'm joined by Liam.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going all right. I am extremely excited as, immediately as we were starting just talking about it, I just would not stop grinning. Just
like, ooh, world building.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I'm a big old nerd. It's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, straight into it, really. Then, I mean, we've kind of we've touched a little bit, maybe, on the possibility of there being gods in my world, but especially in the last bonus episode where you kind of went a little bit into depth about. This is for listeners who may have missed it. This is the Session 0 episode, which went up, I think, 2 weeks ago when this goes out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when. No, that went out. We're recording this on the 16th, no, 17th. So yeah, that went out last week. For us, but 2 weeks ago. Time is relative.
Is confusing, yeah.
But yeah, we went a little bit into the Raven Queen and that. So this is a sort of natural progression of that. I think of just being like, hey, let's talk about more gods and stuff. But really, in our actually, I should probably for listeners whose first world building episode this is. We have our own D&D homebrew world on the podcast here called Vallanna. It's got its own World Anvil page. Which I will tweet the link to. I always say that and I always forget.
Yeah.
But I will do it this time. I will tweet out the link to. Yeah, I promise. Damn. Being held to it and everything. I'll tweet the link out too. You can go to our World Anvil page. But all of our D&D content on the podcast is played in Vallanna. So we use these episodes to kind of flesh out the world a bit, add some stuff, some background stuff, some locations, some bits and pieces, and today we're talking about the gods.
We crave lore.
Yeah.
We need this.
We need it. Please, I need this.
Just satiate the hunger.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, the amount that I've kind of gotten sort of preset for the setting in terms of, gods and things is not a lot. It hasn't really come up, really, in games too much.
Yeah.
Which is slightly on purpose. I didn't want to do a deep dive into religion stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I get that.
Mainly because I hadn't written any. And I've been lucky enough that up to this point, you're playing a cleric, so you kind of have been like, "Hey, get a move on."
Yeah, sorry.
With your very presence.
I've kind of forced the issue by accident. I do apologize.
Yeah, it needed forcing. But yeah, we up to this point haven't had any clerics or anybody with no paladins, nobody with a deep connection to religion. The closest we've gotten is that they've kind of gone into a temple.
Just walked into a temple.
Yeah, showed no respect at all. Got in a fight and then left.
Okay, that sounds fair. That sounds pretty standard D&D.
That's pretty standard, yeah. But no, there was no question about. So, what's your religion about? It was just no, this is the village temple. Sort of thing. I did say which god it was, so that was the start.
Yeah, you had the basis of it.
Yeah, I had some details, but we didn't really go into so this is what they believe and this is what they're doing and everything.
They're like, no, I hit things.
Pretty much, yeah. We hit things.
There's a 23 hit. That's all you heard.
Yeah. We set fire to things. They got drunk before the fight, so they were.
Oh no!
A couple of them were at disadvantage throughout. It was a good time. But so on our World Anvil page, I've kind of sort of roughed out the details of 4 gods, but I haven't gotten a full Pantheon kind of written out.
Yeah, just got a nice kind of baseline.
Yeah,
sort of one there. I mean,
pretty much it's a mixture of ones that have kind of come up in game or have come up in stuff that I've got planned. I haven't written stuff on there yet for what I've got planned with you guys, but we'll get to that. And ones that have kind of come up while I've been doing World Anvil community challenges. So
okay.
The ones I have selected so that we can sort of mark these off of a...
Yes.
Okay, well, let's just say then...
Tick the checklist.
Today we will be coming up with a Pantheon for Vallanna.
Yay!
Yeah. And to do so, I think we're pretty much going to be picking and choosing from whatever gods we think sound cool.
Pretty much,
from pre-established ones.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want boring old gods. You don't want... Yeah. I mean, you want to pick and choose just so you can be right, I only want cool gods in this world. I want gods that wear sunglasses and drive Harley Davidsons. We want
a god who can do a kickflip.
Exactly, yeah. Gods who might be going through midlife crisis, but in a good way. We don't know.
They're balding, but you can't tell because they've got a cap on
Exactly.
backwards. Yeah. What's up, you fellow kids?
What's up, my fellow deities?
It's your boy, Moradin.
This already started out amazingly.
Yeah, it's going well. So yeah, speaking of, so the ones I've kind of named already, we've got Moradin as like the chief of the dwarven gods.
Yeah.
Which I kind of got to because we were planning out on another world-building episode, actually, a dwarven settlement.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't appeared in game yet, but it may do. It's something that we're doing as a sort of one-shot maybe later on in the year. Spoilers. But yeah, because it was a dwarven settlement, we needed to
a lot of dwarves, a lot of Scottish accents are going to be involved.
I'm not very good at a Scottish accent, and I've got a few Scottish friends, especially from Penance RPG podcast, so I don't attempt it because I know I'll make a mistake.
I don't know them, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You can go right ahead. Yes.
My apologies to every Scottish viewer there might be, or anyone Scottish who might hear this.
We apologise in advance for any offence caused by bad accents.
Yes,
and also retroactively for all the ones I've done.
Broad spectrum apology, it works.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, so in building that dwarven town, we kind of put in a temple of Moradin. So we've got Moradin in place as just the sort of general chief of the dwarven gods.
Yeah.
I've pretty much lifted the story wholesale from like the Moradin sort of general deal wholesale from previously written stuff. I think this is going to be the way we're going to go with this. We're not going to be chopping and changing too much of like the kind of backstory of the actual individual gods. It's more just kind of picking the ones we want to put in our pantheon, really, because there's a lot of depth that can be put into.
There's quite a bit.
And like, why rewrite some stuff that's already good? Really,
exactly. Yeah,
we just kind of make it fit into our world. So we got Moradin. The next one I've got written already is Shantaea.
This is actually one that I've not heard of myself but I think you described her.
It's
her
pretty
or
much.
Him, they.
I think it's a her. It's pretty much, as my understanding, it's pretty much the Forgotten Realms version of Pelor.
Yeah, I think. I remember.
Let me just crack open my player's handbook.
Yeah, I think Pelor is mostly described in most sort of D&D lore as being sort of a combination of sort of like order and civilization, but also sort of bountiful crops and things like that, like almost like farming and agriculture.
Yeah, well, it's not a 1-to-1 changeover.
Yeah,
I mean,
according to comparison there, but in a similar vein.
According to the player's handbook, Pelor's actually a Greyhawk deity.
Ooh,
which I wasn't sure of. I thought it was just a standard sort of one. Pelor is described as the god of sun and healing, in his neutral good life. Suggested domains are life, light, and the symbol is the sun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Shantaea. This is what I've lifted because we were in kind of like a farming community in the game when we did this. I figured this was a good one to go for. As like, this is their local. This is what the temple's dedicated to, because it made sense for the lives of the people in the village. Shantaea is a goddess of agriculture, again neutral good, so that kind of tracks for Pelor. Suggested domain is life, so not life and light, just life.
Yeah.
And the symbol is a sheaf of grain or a blooming rose over grain.
Aww.
So kind of like I mean, you really should just pick one out of those two, I feel. There's a little bit of crossover there. So I went with Shantaea just because that was what I was going with at the time.
It seems a bit more sort of focused on sort of growth and sort of farming, livelihood. Less of like it seems like less of like a nature-y kind of domain and more of a just
it's like ordered agriculture more than like
sustenance and keeping people
rather
like
than
life
rather than just kind of like the wilds and nature and thing. That's a separate thing. It's more of like a sort of
she seems like a very kind of like halfling deity. That's how sort of
how
I view halflings as being just like super chill dudes who don't really care about like protecting forests. They just care about just like living happy and just being chill, really.
Yeah, I think that's a good way. Halflings are pretty chill.
I don't think there's a universe out there where halflings are not just awesome. Except maybe in the Witcher series, but you can't really count anything from that.
No, that's kind of its own thing.
It's basically just everything is terrible. But it's fine because you have a sword.
That said, one of our characters from our sort of ongoing thing. It's been a little while since we've joined those characters, but in canon they are currently trapped in a time bubble. So they can come back at some point.
Hey!
Bork is a halfling. He's a fighter.
Nice.
Yeah, we haven't really dipped into his backstory other than we have a little bit, and what we've touched on is that he's kind of he did have a kind of peaceful life, and then at a certain point he left his wife and that, and he was in the military at some point, so maybe that was after he left his wife, but he got addicted to well, gone back and forth. At first, it started as a joke that he was addicted to Bovril, and then I thought I should adjust it to be at least something in
slightly
game.
fantasy related.
Yeah. So, well, we were kind of implying it was like a drug, and then I thought, well, I don't know if I want that really so much. So then I've changed it to Bovril is it's a bit of a kind of expensive elven delicacy. So we thought like he's
that's amazing.
He's a poor man who's picked up rich man's tastes.
Oh yeah,
and like that's
that definitely changes the dynamic from like drug addict to just like high quality gravy addict.
Yeah, exactly. But like but like it kind of bankrupted him because he's like, oh, I can't stop. I just need my fix of this, high quality elven like And we haven't fully specified whether it's still like a beef broth or.
I mean, like elves tend to not. Really, depending on sort of how you run it, elves tend to not be big meat eaters, so maybe they need like a substitute.
I'm keeping it vague what it is.
Yeah,
with a mind to like, I could at one point do like a Bovril Factory episode. Bork and the Bovril Factory that is a written title I've got as something.
Please make it Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh no, it is totally that. It's going to be like Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory, but like it's Bork and the Bovril Factory. That may or may not happen later in the year.
The greatest character epilogue you will ever see.
Oh yeah, no, not even an epilogue. This is just going to be like, I want to have a wacky couple of episodes.
Even better.
Yeah, but that's a long way around to saying.
Yeah.
Not all halflings are 100% peaceful.
Yeah, you got like Lightfoot halflings and like stout halflings. You got like different kinds. You have like Frodo who's just like milling along, and then you have Sam who's the real hero of the book.
Yeah, controversial opinions getting. I don't
prove me wrong.
I don't 100% disagree, but like
controversial, but I'm kind of right.
Send us your Tolkien hot takes.
Exactly. Last episode, for those who didn't know, things will get political. You will get deep topical points, specifically about halflings.
Yeah. To sort of go back to the ones I've already got written, then I've got Lolth written. Again, I've lifted that pretty much wholesale as like goddess of the drow, sort of spider queen thing. I think I got to that through I think it might have been World Ember, which is World Ember's kind of big sort of writing prompt month. I think there was one which was like, one of the prompts might have been something along the lines of like describe an ethnicity. So I was like, well, I can do drow through that as like a sort of sub group of elves. And when I was writing that, I was like, I really need to involve Lolth in this. So I ended up writing the Lolth article on there.
Like a really deep tangent.
Yeah.
But it's an effective tangent.
I've written this, so I need to write this. So that's how Lolth got kind of pulled in. And like, I didn't think again, with most of these, there's no need to change any of their kind of pre-written thing, really.
Yeah, and a lot of cases, a lot of D&D lore will work very well because it will be so like generalized in a good way, more of being like, this is the aspects of this deity, this is how they can be represented, and then it goes then into how they fit into the D&D canon, which we kind of went through earlier. Not
too many of them are like 100% specific to a specific world. They might be organized here in the back of the player's handbook is like, here's the gods of the Forgotten Realms, here's the gods of Greyhawk, but really, like we say, you can pick and choose a little bit, and it's not going to mess up the backstory of the god too much. To be like, oh no, you're in the wrong world. Like, no, the story still works. You just, this is the world we're playing in, sort of thing. Similar sort of thing with Bahamut. I've kind of got as the lawful good deity of justice.
Oh yeah.
Because I think for that, again, a similar thing. I had to write a writing prompt about a priesthood or something like that. Or it was like either a priesthood or it was like write about an organized religion. No, actually, I'll tell you what it was. It was like write about an important. It was like a place of worship. So I backed into it as like Cathedral of Bahamut. I need a Priesthood of Bahamut article.
Yeah.
I need a Bahamut article. So it was like a chain of like.
I need to have this.
So that was how we got to that. But really, those are the only four that I've kind of gotten sort of shaken out in this Pantheon so far. I have kind of got it in mind that Bahamut is, as it is in a lot of settings, going to be pretty high up there on the sort of worshipping scale.
Yeah,
If not the prime. I've kind of I don't know if I've said this on the article. I can't remember. It's right there, but I can't be asked to click it. I think I've sort of implied that Bahamut is like the prime religion in terms of like there's a temple district. Bahamut's temple is,
and then there's others sort of dotted around there.
If it was London, like Temple of Bahamut is St Paul's Cathedral.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
But then you've also got the smaller aspects of worship.
Yeah, there's plenty of other temples there. Like there's I haven't got a map for the city yet, but there is a temple district. It's just like the main kind of big square in the temple district is dominated by this, the Temple of Bahamut.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense for like a lot of places there, because I think that in a lot of particularly a lot of cities that have a lot of cultures, it'd be more focused on being like in many ways with one god, and it would depend on how kind of pious the populace I think would be, or just how big their influence would be there. I can't remember from what I've read of your page on Bahamut. I can't remember if I've gone through it.
Well, I can't remember a lot either. So
it works. Is it in the same way that a lot of kind of Bahamut worship works, in that it is a primarily kind of dragonborn racial thing, or is it more just that is their god, that is a high god? I've
kind of written it as like it's just generally worshipped by the people as like, well, you know, in terms of the tenets of it being sort of justice and life, and you know, and it is lawful good. But the Dragonborn do also, in addition to that, have the wrinkle of like they see Bahamut as their creator god.
Oh yeah,
if that makes sense. Like, a lot of people worship Bahamut, but the Dragonborn specifically see Bahamut as the like, creator.
This is why we worship it. It's because like they put us here,
as opposed to like agreeing with the principles.
Yeah, they agree with like the whole thing. It's just like they literally created us.
Yes, yeah. So that's kind of that's the sort of thing. Yeah, that was a little bit different for different strokes for different folks.
Yes. I always think that's quite cool. I mean, I quite like Bahamut as a deity, because in most just lore, in most cases, dragons are normally the sort of
it's like a symbol of power kind of thing.
Yeah, they're either the big bad of any story, or they're the wise one that kind of gives all the knowledge there, but still just like massive and powerful, which is kind of why it makes sense that someone would worship a giant fucking platinum dragon. It's pretty awesome. I would worship a dragon. If a dragon came along, I'd be like, you know what, I'm down. There
you are. Pretty
you
big.
Could literally eat me. that's you've got my respects.
I mean, that goes into that. I mean, that explains a lot of the sort of like the lore of what, like, why people would worship Cthulhu and those things. Yeah. Be like, yeah, look, it's a fucking giant squid thing.
Yeah. Why else wouldn't I worship this?
I will say as well, I just remembered that I have referred to the lead god of the Elves. I haven't made a page for them, but I did this is in the Lolth article. I referred to Corellon Lethian, which Corellon Larethian, creator god of the Elves.
Okay.
Which I again lifted wholesale from.
Yeah, I mean,
Tome of Phones, and I think we should probably do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I use Corellon. Corellon just sounds to me like a pirate name. Like I would fear Captain Corellon. But yeah, I use them as my deity for elves in my own setting.
Yeah, I think,
and it kind of works.
It is. Yeah, it works as like a hey, the elves have this is their main dude.
Yeah, I think it kind of works when you've got like less. In a lot of cases, it can work to have deities that are focused on aspects and like beliefs and things like that. But also, it's quite interesting to have gods that are also specific racial ones.
Yeah,
like if you've got ones that create the elves, Bahamut with Dragonborn, then Moradin with dwarves. Yeah, it's quite interesting to have that.
I'm thinking in terms of like this kind of, we've got our main pantheon, but then we've also got like sort of sub pantheons. So like the dwarves, you know, they look to Moradin, and there's other dwarven gods that maybe outsiders don't really know so much about, and the same with the elves. Like they
kind of Greek mythology sort of style, where you've got like
so the elves are kind of like they're focused on their main worship might be to Corellon, but then there's other ones, elves who you know, they still recognize Corellon, but like they might follow like just a general kind of goddess of nature or something or whatever. But there are ones that are like, here's the elven specific ones that don't really have many followers outside of the elves. And like, here's the dwarven specific ones that most of, not many non-dwarves follow.
Yeah.
And then the main Pantheon are kind of, they're sort of not really specific to any particular group.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, kind of like in the Dragon Age kind of setting there, where the elves have like, it's like there's this one god that's a big one, and then you've got like this one who's like the goddess of the hunt. You've got one that's like goddess of like their mounts and things like that.
Let's not spoil Dragon Age Inquisition for people.
Spoilers for major heartbreaks in Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm still not over it.
It was a twist. Well, I think because not to get off track, but
I mean, when it comes to Dragon Age, I'm happy to go off track.
I think I did certain things in like not in like the wrong order, but then it was almost like I'd done too much stuff in between when the twist, like in between like when some specific information came to me earlier on in the game and when the twist happened, because I was like, wait, we did refer to that earlier. That was 20 hours ago. Like, there's too much DLC and things.
No, I get that.
Yeah. But it's good. It's a good game.
That's a good game.
It's quite long. I think my last playthrough was maybe 70 hours. Something like that.
I think mine was like 60 last time I played it there. It's a good game. We're not counting separate characters either.
No, just my last playthrough.
Yeah, just one playthrough.
Yeah. Sorry, it was a relevant point.
Yes, exactly. I did try to make it relevant, so I was like, I don't just want to talk about everything I love.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of makes sense there.
So, I mean, pretty much actually all of the ones that we've got sorted out already, apart from Shantaea, are in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and not Dungeon Master's Guide, Player's Handbook, under non-human deities. So we really haven't touched a lot on main ones.
That's something I always tend to see in a lot of aspects. That you don't get many sort of. I mean, you get like a lot of like human gods, but they never seem to be like a god of humans.
No,
but I think it's because humans are so racially diverse in most D&D worlds. They tend to have more belief systems and like racially focused belief systems, if that makes sense.
And I think as well there's an element of like outside of like character that like obviously we're all humans playing the game, so it's maybe a little bit easier to think of like, these are the gods that the elves worship, and then these general concept gods are for everyone, or like these general concept gods are for humans. We don't have them written down as like, human god of war, human god of this. It's just like that's the god of war. So I don't know, maybe I'm getting too deep into that, but
I mean that is going quite deep.
Yeah.
I mean that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think a good thing to do then. So we've gotten a few sort of I hate to say it, a few of the non-human ones kind of
sort of nailed down.
Yeah, like we got Lolth and Corellon as kind of like a yin and yang sort of
things.
Thing.
I mean, with
we can flesh that out, and the dwarf ones, but I think we can get back to. But I think a good place to start really would be maybe to.
We've not started yet, guys.
We haven't started.
This is the prologue.
We're going to do this 25-minute intro. These world-building ones, they tend to be a little bit meandering.
Yeah,
shall we say?
Good. I'm enjoying it. It's great.
Yeah. A good place to start then, in terms of like really sort of let's make some choices.
Yeah,
would maybe be to kind of pick like the sort of more general concept ones, and then later on we can maybe look at like, okay, here's some more specifics.
Yeah, what can go where, who can go with what's and such.
So I'm happy for Bahamut to stay as like justice and life as a prime deity.
Yeah,
and then like we said, that's kind of it's a fairly standard one in a lot of settings, really.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly happy to not be very original.
I mean, I think it'd be quite a good idea to add Tiamat into the mix with that. Yeah, she works quite well as an antithesis.
Yeah,
and because a giant five-headed dragon is pretty badass.
And then there's a lot of again, I hate to say like pre-written, but there is a lot of pre-written sort of interesting stuff to pull on there as like Tiamat worshippers and stuff like that from a mechanical standpoint, we already have the stat blocks for. But no. I mean, it's a good.
If we fight Archon the Cruel, I will not have a problem with it at all.
Bring him into the.
I mean, thanks to him being in Descent into Avernus, that makes Critical Role canonical D&D lore now,
which makes sense. Yeah.
Which is my favorite aspect of that whole thing, other than the fact that Joe Manganiello is just really cool. But yeah,
okay.
I think
I'm happy to bring Tiamat.
Yeah,
in.
Tiamat works quite well.
It just dragon goddess of evil and I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That doesn't need much like detail for it. It's just like, what is she the god of? She's god of evil. Evil. Pinky to the side of the mouth to say evil.
Yeah.
Unless you pay me 1 million gold.
How about 10,000 platinum? Wait, is that? No, 100,000 platinum.
That amount of coin doesn't even exist.
Okay, so I'll just go through some of the deities of the Forgotten Realm thing, and we can maybe sort of see if there's any kind of corollaries in the other pantheons and pick and choose.
Although starting off straight away there, something that for some reason I never see it in most like pantheons is the top one, Auril, goddess of winter. There's never seemed to be many winter-based deities.
No, there isn't, is there?
I don't understand why.
I like that idea though of bringing that in.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not even specific. I mean, if we go with Auril, that, but have we got like?
I mean, it seems more like races or like societies that seem to have more of a like. It's hard to describe. Kind of like more tribal.
Yeah.
Cultures seem like they'd have more of a focus on like entities of like winter, summer, things like that.
I mean, Auril on this is down as neutral evil.
Yeah, which is interesting. Which is quite interesting,
yeah,
especially since like her symbol is a snowflake.
Yeah, and the only
it's so Christmassy.
And there isn't really like I'm looking down here. There's no like goddess of spring, god of summer.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an odd. I mean, I like the idea of maybe tweaking. So we could maybe come up with a different name, or just like.
I mean, she could also be.
We could just shorten it to Ori and say goddess of the seasons.
That's true. Yeah, could do that.
Oh, that would be more of like a kind of nature thing, but a nature tempest.
Or could be one of the sort of sub deities in like the Elven pantheon.
Could be
to have kind of like her being almost kind of like the. I hate to say Loki of that sort of pantheon there.
Hold on, let me.
Because Loki was like more of a neutral kind of evil deity in that he didn't really do things for the sake of being evil, more just because
more like a trickery thing.
Yeah, which I kind of liked about him. Not to say don't incite people to murder. Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, again, not to shoot anything down.
Yeah. Just because I thought that'd be interesting.
No, it is pretty interesting.
Because there never seems to be gods of winter.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of think that would sort of just fall under like kind of general sort of nature things,
yeah, sort
right?
of seasons and whatnot. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, but in terms of like the elven stuff, I'm sort of happy almost to, as we've already lifted Lolth and Corellon, to sort of also take all the other elf deities from.
Yeah. Please don't judge us.
Yeah, don't judge us. There's a lot of them. But yeah, to also take all the other elf deities from Tome of Foes.
Yeah, I mean, looking at them, there's no evil ones there.
Not in the Seldarine, but there's the Dark Seldarine ones as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think really far down.
Yeah, we'll.
No worries.
I don't want to
using that sort of aspect of it.
It's going to sound a little bit sort of lazy, but I think just maybe take it as read that we're using the ones in Tome of Foes for the elves.
That's fair.
Because otherwise we're going to have to end up being like, here's the general one of this, then here's the elf one of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
It sounds lazy, but hey, we're half an hour in already.
Fair enough.
Okay, but yeah, no. Okay, so well maybe we could do like I still like the idea of maybe having like a little bit of a goddess of winter, but not having it be neutral evil.
Yeah,
it's that evil thing that's kind of sticking in a little bit, because I'm like, well, winter's not evil; it's just part of the seasons.
Yeah, more of like a kind of lawful neutral sort of, or chaotic neutral sort of sort of thing, maybe, because it's just how.
Yeah,
it is.
Maybe chaotic neutral. It's sort of a bit more like it happens, but it's not actually good or evil.
Yeah,
but you still can't predict it.
Yeah, like it's not great, but it happens.
We could keep the name as well. It's kind of a cool name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're using that god, but we're slightly changing their nature.
Yes. There we go. It's one checked off the list.
Yeah.
Now we just go down all.
So next down on the list of Forgotten Realms ones, God of Wizards. I don't know if we should have a God of Wizards.
You don't really need a God of Wizards because the whole point of like arcane magic is that it's
like separate. Like the wizards,
it's like that's created by
it's a different
mortals.
force, isn't it? Yeah, like the wizards know that deities exist, obviously, but they don't tend to in most things have their own.
Have their own thing.
They kind of look at it as like, well, you people over there doing religion, we're over here doing magic.
Yeah,
at least in everything I've read. But I mean, I'm going to admit I haven't read a huge amount on like the God of Wizards, but
same.
It could be that's a holdover from like some of these. I think are kind of holdovers from like older editions and things, maybe a little bit that they didn't want to take out because people might use them. Yeah. I'm telling you now, we're not using them. So Bane, God of Tyranny, it's a cool name, and it's kind of yeah. I'm kind of looking down the list here at the Forgotten Realms ones, and I'm feeling like a lot of these are gonna be pretty good, but we could maybe swap out so we don't have a double up of the sort of non-human ones.
Yeah,
in terms of like we've already got Tiamat. We could maybe have Tiamat also take over with Bane as well.
Yeah, sort of have different aspects, and
they're both they're both lawful evil. So if we also give Tiamat the domain, sort of a little bit of a crossover there.
Yeah, sort of having them both reach different things.
Yeah, I mean that's not to say if a player comes to me and says like, hey, I want to be like a follower of Bane, we could have it be a minor deity.
That's true. Almost kind of like
it's a cult
demigod sort of thing. I mean, maybe. I mean, like with some aspects of like gods, the whole point of like godhood is that like the only reason they are considered gods is because people believe in them enough.
Yeah.
So even like some cults trying to,
so maybe it's just not recognized as a sort of
a minor deity that is only has power by people sort of having some beliefs with them.
Yeah. So next we've got Bashara, goddess of misfortune.
I mean, there's a lot
of ones like that. It's trickery domain.
Yeah, I just looked over the entire list, and it's a very long list.
Yeah, I think I don't want to touch too much on those kind of ones for now. I think.
Yeah.
God of murder. I mean, that's pretty metal.
Yeah.
And the name as well, Baal.
Baal.
Is there a corollary to? And we got the bugbear god of violence is Hrogek.
I mean, you've got things like Gond, who's god of craft, which kind of comes into Moradin.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's also there's a little bit of crossover there, isn't there?
Yeah, and you've got like Kelemvor, who's the god of the dead.
Oh yeah, we've already said we're going with Raven Queen instead of Kelemvor. So that's That's it. We'll take that as written. So okay. Well, let's work our way down what these are the gods of, and then we'll decide whether we're going to keep them or whether we're going to go.
So which ones?
That's a better way because there's a lot of
instead of just going through one by one.
So Baal, god of murder. I'm actually kind of digging that.
That is quite cool.
It's
skulls metal. Surrounded by a ring of bloody droplets.
It's basically corn.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep the Baal, the god of murder,
and
because. Just for general metal reasons.
Just for very in the essence of heavy metal, we shall keep him.
Got to be done. We've already got Shantae locked in.
We've got Cyric,
God of Lies.
Tricky white jawless.
I kind of like that. I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing with things like Lolth, because Lolth is generally like the goddess of like poisons and assassins and
sort of
general kind of
whispers and lies and.
Also, just quickly, aspects like Vecna.
Well, I'm not sure about Vecna,
or just
God of Evil secrets in the Greyhawk Pantheon here, and obviously it's shown up in Critical Role and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I suppose he just kind of comes under the sort of aspect of just like general lichdom and
general
lichdom. What is it, Corporal Lichdom? It's like, I don't know. You called me here.
General Lichdom, I will bust you down to Colonel if you're not careful. I don't know. God of Lies. Again, that kind of falls into the trickery and misfortune thing a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the difference in flavour there is.
I mean, it could even be sort of like there is one God of Lies, no one knows who it is.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. That's...
Lion Jerry, the god of lies.
I'm Craig. I am
Craig, the god of lies.
Craig, the god of lies. Yeah. He's just like a white guy in like a fantasy polo shirt.
Yeah, he
just
tells
kind
you
of
that his
around.
uncle works at Nintendo.
Yeah. He's just oh, my worshipper's gone to Yale the other week.
Craig, the god of lies. I totally think we should call the god of lies Craig. I don't know why that's tickled me so much.
See, even more, I kind of want the cult of Craig.
Yeah, exactly. See, yeah, and then we're all just trying to one up each other on like the yeah. Oh, I'm on board with the cult of Craig.
Oh God, what have I done?
Denir, the god of writing.
It could come into like the kind of like a god of knowledge.
Yeah, I feel like that would fall under that, wouldn't it? We've already got because what is it in again? I know we're trying to steer clear of a little bit clear of
I mean, Critical Role has
that's what I mean. Yeah, I was going to say we're not trying to blow up Critical Role's spot on this, but I kind of prefer a general kind of knowledge deity, maybe like Ioun.
Yeah,
and writing is sort of, you know, creativity / knowledge kind of.
I mean, if I can find it, there was this kind of actually interesting one that I saw. But this is like years ago when I was first starting up there. I think they were called Blood of Soul.
Okay.
And like it was weird because it was a I think it was not even like good. It was like a neutral, like chaotic neutral kind of deity.
All right.
And I was like, but they're a nature god. Nature god, knowledge god.
Knowledge god.
And that really kind of interested me there. I'm now not going to find it. I definitely didn't have a...
Oh, yeah, isn't it? You never find anything when you want to find it.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'm just talking out my arse here.
But yeah, I'm looking at the Greyhawk ones. I've got a few names that I recognise that I was like, I didn't know they were Greyhawk ones. Like, Istus has popped up on... Istus as a god of Fate and Destiny has popped up on Adventure Zone.
Yeah.
In a pretty big way.
I forgot about Blipdle Boop.
And yeah, everybody forgets about Blipdle Boop.
Everyone forgets about Blipdle Boop.
But we won't.
we will never forget about Blipdle
In fact,
Boop.
I almost want to put a blanket thing of we will use all of the non-human deities from this because they're all cool and they're all doing stuff that, like, you know, we don't want to come up with a specific pantheon for the merfolk. They can keep Iadro, you know.
I can't find him, but yeah, it was just kind of it was an interesting little thing where you're just like not what you would think about that. Like if you think of like an evil deity, you think god of secrets, but it was just specifically was of knowledge.
Yeah. Well, like
I probably
just
had a fever dream while trying to write my campaign. That's probably what I was thinking of. I
mean, going down this Forgotten Realms list, they got Ogma, the god of knowledge. I don't like that name.
Ogma sounds like a autocorrect nightmare.
It does make me think of Nanny Og from Discworld.
Oh yeah,
a little bit. I'd rather go again, not to blow up the Critical Role spot, but like maybe go more with Ioun.
Yeah, I mean, like Ioun's a very nice kind of deity to think of.
Yeah, and kind of as a general kind of knowledge, and then kind of fold the writing thing into that. I'd rather sort of. I'd rather go with that.
In some cases, you don't need to get too specific with it. Like,
no.
I think like a librarian follow Ioun because knowledge comes in many forms.
Writing goes into that.
Yeah, like a bard could follow Ioun because they tell stories, sort of.
Totally. Yeah. So yeah, I'd rather. So we're striking Denir, the god of writing, and Ogma, the god of knowledge.
Yes. Sorry, Denir and Ogma.
Yeah, sorry.
Eldath, goddess of peace. Get out of here. So yeah, I think Gond we were saying no to because we already have Moradin, or sort of think of him more as a sub deity.
Yeah, I'd rather go with Moradin and have it because Moradin's kind of like the god of crafting and that, but like the kind of god of the anvil and things. I get the feeling like it. I'd like it to be that it's specifically a dwarven thing, but there has been a lot of, the dwarves. They do keep to themselves to a certain bit, but they have integrated enough with the main culture in Vallanna that the blacksmiths know about Moradin, and they're like, we'll go with Moradin rather than having a specific. It's been long enough of an integration that like they just go with Moradin rather than Gond. I
mean, the way I kind of run Moradin is have him like his followers, particularly in dwarves, like their belief is that he literally forged them from like stone and metal.
Yeah.
Like they are literally his creations because he physically made them. And I think that's where, in a similar way that Dragonborn have the thing with Bahamut, their thought is just like this is the one that bestowed us with life and
that's
gave
what
us
the
sort
dwarves,
of thing there.
The dwarves specifically believe of Moradin as a creator.
Yeah.
But
as a literal physical creator as well.
Yeah, others also worship it in terms of like, if they're blacksmiths or,
the understanding
or crafters
this...
or whatever.
Yeah.
So Gond, you're out of here. Just to
Gond,
jump
you're
over
gone.
in terms of like keeping it vaguely alphabetical, I want to keep Cord in as well from Deities of Greyhawk there as the god of athletics and sport.
Yeah, Cord's just cool.
Just going down. Helm, god of protection. I mean, kind of. I mean, he's lawful neutral. I mean, he's not doing anybody any damage there. I feel like that's going to be more like... That's the coward's god to... Not like because they want to be protected, but just like, come on, man, you could have gone with Bahamut or something, but like, he's kind of... That's pretty neutral. The god of protection, Yeah, you can stay.
I don't need a weapon, I just need a shield.
Yeah, I don't know, God of Endurance, Ilmator. I mean,
that kind of comes under Cord a bit as well.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, athletics and sports. So you're out of here. God of the Dead. We're going with Raven Queen instead of
just because she's goth and I love her.
You called dibs on Raven Queen.
I called dibs on Raven Queen.
Yeah.
Which if nothing else, that is what I'm happy. I will be struck down by a meteorite tomorrow and be happy that I've coined the Raven Queen.
Lathander. I kind of like Lathander.
Yeah, god of birth and renewal. That just seems really cute there.
Yeah,
I kind of think of her as kind of being like the patron deity of like midwives and like nurses and healers.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to go with that.
Because it seems like sort of very like kind of small time god that
small time.
Not
like
as in kind of like very subtle.
No
kind
big
of like,
cathedrals or anything really.
Yeah,
but
she just has like small little shrines and like small like village temples and like.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's one thing we probably should have been saying about each of these. Like, where are they worshipped?
We'll
get back to it. It's fine.
It's fine.
Fine. Don't worry about it. Similar thing. So yeah, we're going with Ioun instead of others. I don't know about. I'm sort of I'm kind of looking at this page and sort of skipping between the Greyhawk ones and the Forgotten Realms ones.
Yeah, I only have access to one at a time, so I'm focusing on the Forgotten Realms.
The magic of holding the book in my hand instead of using a PDF on the phone. I kind of want to. I'm thinking maybe keeping Istus in there as well as like a sort of as the Fate and Destiny thing, because that will help us kind of maybe drop out a couple of these other ones here. I'm trying to pare it back a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because there's a bit of crossover, and there's stuff that we could be doing with other ones that are maybe like slightly differently written.
Yeah, ones that can work and ones that kind of can't work.
Yeah. So going down this, Lyra, Goddess of Illusion, sort of. We could.
Illusion kind of comes out with trickery.
I know, but we haven't landed on a trickery one, really, have we?
That's true.
We could go with Lyra and just expand her remit to be like include all the trickery stuff, like include all the non-evil trickery stuff.
Yeah, just kind of have her being kind of like a fun-loving
pranks.
Yeah,
just a prank, bro. She's the god of jackass.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then...
Hi, I'm Lyra. I'm going to take a shotgun blast to the face. Just the most extreme example.
Yeah, so we could kind of fold some of the non-malignant...
Yeah, as long as she doesn't interfere with Craig, the god of lies.
Yeah, her and Craig don't get on.
No.
They're exes. Craig lied to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, man.
Lyra, Goddess of Joy. It's not hurting anybody. We'll leave that in.
Yeah.
Loviata, Goddess of Pain.
Loviata.
Kind of go with Baal, Goddess of Murder.
Yeah. Or even Bane of Tyranny.
Yeah, screw it. We'll leave that in. I feel like we're leaving a lot of Forgotten Realms ones in, but like,
yeah,
it's fine. They serve a purpose.
Forgotten Realms ones are pretty solid.
Like, they're good.
And then some are a bit specific.
We're picking and choosing some from Greyhawk as well. I haven't even really looked at the Dragonlance ones, but I don't know a lot about Dragonlance, and to be honest, a lot of these names are sort of not really jumping out at me.
Yeah.
So, Malar, god of the hunt. Now we've got. I think obviously this is going to be separate to any kind of elven one that's maybe following it.
Yeah,
So this
I mean,
is
it could
more
be
general.
like a human
Yeah.
kind of one there. As in, maybe even he is not even, maybe not even a god. Maybe he, like, this is from when humans had a much more basic kind of society, and he was just a very established hunter who just never seemed to die, and then just sort of passed off into existence, into obscurity, sorry, and then just like people kind of kept evoking his name to the point where he maybe did become a god, or maybe like some sort of spirit.
Do you want to leave that one in then?
Yeah, I quite like the idea of having kind of like a god of the hunt.
What about the name? Are we keeping the name, or are we?
Malar. I think Malar's kind of. I think it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mask, god of thieves. Yeah, screw it. Leave it in. That's a very specific. Yeah. I'm just looking in case there's something sort of.
Yeah. Kind of like the idea of having like almost kind of like the Daedric kind of princes.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
Like one where they kind of like don't have worship, where you're just kind of like it's not worship, it's a business deal.
You kind of invoke their name for that specific thing. Yeah.
Like you don't like the only kind of shrine you have is something you occasionally like toss a gold coin into to be kind of like
toss a coin to your mask.
Toss a coin to your mask.
A
Valley of Thievery. But yeah, I think it works.
Yeah, okay, so next we got Mirliki, goddess of forest. Now, we do later down have Sylvanas, god of wild nature.
Yeah.
I think we could maybe fold those two together.
Yeah. I mean, the main difference there is the name. Sylvanas, very cool.
Very World of Warcraft.
Mirliki. Not, doesn't
you could
inspire...
could really mispronounce it, go, Mirliki.
Mirliki forests.
Yeah, I think maybe we could fold Mirliki into Sylvanas.
I mean, her symbol is a unicorn's head. That alone should let her just come in.
Well, and I was thinking more just go with Sylvanas as god of nature rather than god of wild nature, because we've got Shantaea as god of agriculture, so that implies everything.
Difference.
Yeah, that implies everything else is Sylvanas.
Yeah,
so
sort of like things
you've got like
seas and
you've got like
tornadoes and just all aspects of nature.
Yeah, you got like kind of stuff that is in control of like that people involved with, which is Shantaea, and then the stuff that's like just nature, which is Sylvanas.
Yeah, difference between like kind of people and then just natural kind of growth.
Yeah, and I feel like we don't need a separate goddess of forest.
Yeah,
so much. Milul, god of poetry and song. Yeah, we'll leave that in for the bards.
Yeah,
just for the it's for the bards. We got another. Oh well, actually, god of death. What's the difference between god of death and god of the dead? God of death is more Raven Queen. God of death is
more people dying.
That's more Raven Queen, though, isn't it?
Yeah. God of the dead, I think,
involves like a sort of after the fact.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I kind of never really got about, like specifically like afterlife sort of things. There is that I'm pretty sure like all gods have their own sort of equivalent of like they gain their souls differently. So
there's only and then the god of Raven Queen steps in just for a second. And then you go off to wherever you were meant to be going.
I mean, I think that's like her. I think her main deal in most aspects is that like she guides the dead to their sort of final resting place, and sort of make sure that they don't become like trapped in some necromancer's den or something, or become like. We'll
leave out Mercury, god of death, because we'll just say Raven Queen is the catch-all. Like while you're dying,
she lassoes you.
She's the bus driver that gets you where you need to go.
Essentially, yes. Yeah. She's the goth bus driver.
Mystra, goddess of magic. I mean, again, that's kind of like we touched on that with the god of wizards, really.
Yeah, magic's not really like a natural kind of.
Yeah, I don't want to start tying that into religion, really.
Yeah.
Ogma, god of knowledge. Well, we've already said. You're out of here, Ogma.
You're out of here, Ogma.
Sarah's god of divination and fate. I mean, I'd rather go with Istis as goddess of fate and destiny.
Yeah, that kind of works more, because I think the difference between like divination and fate, like those are two pretty
divination
different things.
Is just going like is trying to find out what's going to happen. Really. Yeah. So I'd rather have it just be Istis be like, no, stuff's happening, and then people are more beseeching Istis to tell them rather than having a specific one of being like,
what's going on?
Hey,
it's Craig. Am I going to be a god? For some reason, he sounds like Kermit the Frog.
It's not easy being the god of lies.
Okay, that broke me.
I didn't know I could do it. I didn't know I could do a Kermit.
I rolled natural 20.
Hi ho, god of the lies here.
Oh, you do so much a better impression there. I think we need to carry on. We could do this for hours. We'll make a separate episode where we're just doing Kermit impressions.
Oops, all Kermits.
Yes.
One shot where everybody's playing Kermit.
Just all grungs. All different race grungs, and everyone has to do their own Kermit the Frog impression.
That's exactly what I want to do.
That's amazing.
We'll do that. We'll do it.
Is it too beautiful for this world?
The all Kermit one shot. Episode 1. When we get to episode 100, stay tuned.
Right, where are we? I forget. What are we doing?
That also goes along with it. This is slightly. I want to run a Mass Effect one shot where everybody plays Krogan.
Oh yes.
Then everybody has to talk like this for the whole hour. Shepherd. Ha. It just destroy all our voices. I have to get right up on the microphone and just be like, oh.
or it's like a group of Krogan playing D&D.
Yeah.
That's like even better. My name is Melissa. I am the Asari War Maiden.
Hi, I'm playing I guess I'm just playing a human.
I'm a human.
You haven't got the quads. I need to have a slightly
amazing
throat in a better place for that, because like that.
Yeah,
it was a dumb idea I had that I still want to do, but like that's going to take a little bit of organization when there isn't a respiratory pandemic going around.
Oh yeah. once our respiratory systems are safe, we will do this.
We'll all be sitting there with giant glasses of water because it's going to just destroy. Where the hell did we get to?
We got to
Saloon, God of the Moon.
Goddess of the Moon. I quite like that.
Yeah, I also haven't yet defined how many moons there are.
Yeah.
So let's say 2.
I got really fancy with my one, and I was like, oh yeah, there are 2 moons. And everyone was just like, oh my god, there's 2 moons. And I was really proud of that. That was a good moment. So it's good to have more than one.
Yeah, I like 2 moons.
Yeah. Let's go very Tatooine and...
Yeah. But Tatooine's got 2 suns.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Pretty much. The sun and the moon.
There's 2 moons. One of them's smaller than the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Done. Yeah, we'll keep Saloon. Are we going to keep... You just would call it Luna instead.
Oh yeah.
Just change it.
Yeah, that can work.
Yeah. Yeah. Shar, Goddess of Darkness and Loss.
See, that kind of sounds like a kind of orcish kind of
deity.
I
was going to say, and then we've got kind of...
just like Goddess and Darkness and Loss.
Obviously, like I say, I'm in favour of keeping all the non-human deities as written.
Yeah.
Including Grumsh, Orc, God of Storm.
Grumsh. But it's kind of it's a weird combination of like Goddess of Darkness and Lost. That doesn't sound evil to me. It's weird.
It's like, where are my damn keys?
It's just looting things. Okay, I see the evil aspect of it now.
Yeah.
Where's your phone?
I don't know. I'm not too fussed with that one.
Yeah. That's fine.
That would be one. Like, we're not going to specify that unless, somebody asks for it.
It's just like, I want to know exactly why I've lost my keys.
Oh, then you need to know Shah.
It's just an orcish tribe, though. It's just like, I can tell you.
We're keeping Sylvanas, wild.
Cool.
We're cutting out the wild from that, just nature.
Yeah.
Soon, Goddess of Love and Beauty. I feel like we can maybe just come up with a new name.
Yeah.
For like a god of love, because you got to have a god of love in Pantheon.
Gotta have a god of love.
I don't want to make a jokey name, but you could always call it like Tinder God of Love. No.
El Tinder.
El
Tinder. But it's spelled with an A instead of an E.
Spanish Tinder.
El Tinder.
They call me El Tinder. No. I don't know. Soon isn't grabbing me as a name for that. Really, that's what it is.
I mean, one of my kind of favorite deities is Timora, who's kind of the goddess of good fortune. I kind of think of her as, I mean, she could come as part of it maybe, but she's more like she's more like the kind of aspect of Loki that I like. Like she's kind of like the you make your own fate, sort of thing.
Whereas, like I say, I want to have a specific god of love, really.
Yeah. Because
we've got knowledge, we've got craft. We haven't actually got a God of War yet, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, Kratos.
I think we'll just
easy.
Kratos.
It's in the damn name.
Fair enough. Done. Yeah.
Except we can't call it Kratos for copyright, so his name is Carlos, but with a K.
Carlos, God of War.
He is Carlos.
We could just keep Tempest.
That's true.
Well, for now we'll keep soon.
Tempest.
I think, unless we can come up with a better name. My brain isn't engaging on like cool names for a goddess of love.
Yeah, I have too many character names, so I can't like in terms of like playable character names. As a forever DM, that's my only weakness. Yeah, nothing jumps out.
My brain is not engaging in terms of like coming up with names right now. So we'll keep soon, but we're not happy about it.
Soon TPD.
Yeah, TBD. Goddess of disease and poison.
I mean, that kind of comes under Lolth.
A little bit.
I'm thinking.
I actually but I'm thinking the Lolth is, there is a bit different in my mind a little bit though. This is more of like a kind of Nurgle sort of like general disease sort of thing. So maybe we just, I was going to say, maybe if we come up with another name, we can come up with one for that.
I mean, I kind of like Talona. Talona's quite a cool name. Maybe you should just make it kind of Goddess of Disease.
Yeah, and cut the poison part of
goddess,
it out.
Or even like Goddess of Pestilence.
Yeah.
Because kind of like Four Horsemen style, except
a
little bit different there. But yeah, that'd be quite cool. I'm just making a cleric of Talona. Like,
you're
just really sickly all the time. I'm just imagining.
That's cool. Yeah,
I'm just imagining like a lizard folk who just kind of like has a cane and just kind of walks around like a witch doctor kind of style.
He's like, I'm a cleric of Talona. I have all of the STDs.
Oh,
you want to get funky? That is the voice I would use if I was running.
Yeah. And
it's a little bit like Maik the Liar from Skyrim. Maik has secrets. Khajiit swears
if you have coin.
Yeah.
It's also, I'm guessing it's canonical that all Tabaxi sound like Khajiit because there's nothing else you can make them sound like.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Tabaxi has wares if you have coin. Why Tabaxi bards work so well?
You all have to talk like this.
Right, where were we?
Yeah, we'll keep Talona,
Goddess of Disease,
and we'll cut the poison part off of that.
I quite like it. She sounds cool. I'd not like to go drinking with her, but
Talos, God of Storms. I feel like...
Are you kind of leading away from Cord being like a god of... Because in some... I think... Is he God of Storms as well? Is he a Tempest?
Well... I don't know. Are you thinking Critical Role again in terms of... That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Sorry, I've had a lot of Critical Role in my brain.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
But no, that'd be quite interesting to have a separate God of Storms.
Yeah.
But I think he'd be less of like a non-human deity, if that makes sense. Because you've got like the elven goddess of nature.
So you're thinking this is more of like a Zeus type deal?
Kind of, yeah.
But just the lightning side of things?
Yes. So like sailors kind of will like make offerings to him.
Yeah.
To kind of be like, please don't sink our ships.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we've got a God of the Sea coming up in a second.
Yeah.
And because there's certain ones just in terms of like wanting to kind of ape the ancient Greek pantheon. You've got to have a God of love. You've got to have a God of war. You've got to have a God of the sea.
Yeah, it kind of makes things a bit more interesting that sort of way.
Yeah,
because then you sort of know who to.
So God of Storms. I mean, Talos as God of Storms. Yeah, let's keep that in. That's kind of rad.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Tempest, God of War. I think that's a classic. We'll keep Tempest in. Torm, God of Courage and Self-Sacrifice. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. That kind of goes into kind of Bahamut, but it's weird because I wouldn't. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, because Bahamut's got kind of the thing of like a little bit of the self-sacrifice thing, but also like
I mean,
acting in service of justice and
for the good of everyone. This may seem
this is more like self-confidence.
Yeah, I mean, this may seem a little bit out there. I kind of get the image of him being like a legendary kind of like human warrior who died, and so he was risen up to divinity, and that's why he's now kind of almost like the human patron god.
Okay,
that makes sense there.
Just
in the same sort of way that Bahamut is the sort of patron deity of Dragonborn. But obviously he's I just kind of like the idea of having this kind of like risen deity who like,
and he's like
wants to emulate.
I kind of maybe strike the self-sacrifice of just self-confidence. But like, well, kind of goes with courage a little bit, doesn't it? God of courage and believing in yourself.
Essentially, yeah. He's the motivational poster of gods.
Yeah,
essentially,
he's the after-school special of gods.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure. We'll keep you in there, Torm.
Yeah, and then Timora, Miguel.
You wanted to keep Timora.
I just like the idea of having this kind of like this, just like a goddess of good fortune. Like not even one that has like. Sort of in the similar vein that like gods who don't have like massive like temples and things like that. Yeah. Just like a nice kind of like
a small, people invoke the name but they don't.
Yeah,
go to church.
Like the only time you'll see shrines is sort of like on the side of the road. Like you'll see like someone's just left like trinkets and stuff.
Like people have in
real
life, I have like a St. Christopher medal kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean her symbol is like a face-up coin. So yeah, I quite like the idea that like she's sort of like the goddess of like travelers and
and good fortune works as well, so the gamblers as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You've sold me on. Yeah, we'll keep that. Tyr, god of justice. I mean, that's kind of covered with Bahamut.
Yeah, that goes into.
I feel like Bahamut's.
He's got it covered.
Yeah, we can leave Tyr out.
Yeah.
Umberlee, goddess of the sea. I want to keep that in. I don't know if I like the name.
Yeah.
Umber. I kind of want something a little bit more nautical, if you know what I mean.
I mean, that's the problem with things like Tempest, because
that's
Astora?
Let me just open up a name generator. I like Dairos, actually. Okay, so we'll go with...
Ooh, Dairos. Oh, that's very like kind of Greek.
Yeah, we'll go with Dairos, god of the sea. There we go. It's
I'm liking that.
Yeah, it's a bit better than Umberlee, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. We've at least come up with one of our own gods.
Umberlee and Ivory.
Yeah, see, this is exactly the kind of jokes you've got to think of before the players do.
Yes,
because they will think of it.
That's what we get out of the way. There's just an entire session of going through every single name and just seeing if we can make jokes about it. So they make it and you're just like, I've heard that before.
Yeah. And the last one on here, and I don't think we need to go through a lot of the other ones. We got Walkeen, goddess of trade.
Yeah.
Again, I want to come up with a different name for that because I don't think it really fits with the other ones that we've got. So I'm back on the name generator.
I mean, a god of trade kind of jumps out at me as being less of like a big god, more
this is more
almost like a patron god.
Traders are kind of like but the name generator has spat out Isuna, goddess of fortune.
Ooh.
So I prefer that to. We'll keep it as goddess of trade.
Yeah, Isuna, goddess of trade. That works.
That works.
I like the sound of that. Yeah.
I think we've done quite well there. We've got a lot of names, and there's still. I don't want to go into a huge amount of detail on each one at this point because I want to leave myself a little bit of elbow room.
Get like an idea of what.
Yeah, and we've touched a little bit on different sort of levels that they're at in terms of worship. I think.
Yeah.
I think, and again, I don't know whether we should go through keep as read. Yeah, well, we should actually for listeners because they might not have the player's handbook.
Yeah.
Just what the non-human ones that we're keeping are as written in here. I have lost the page. So we've already said about Bahamut, which is the dragon god of, in ours, justice and stuff.
Yeah, general goodness.
Keeping Blibdul Poop.
Blibdul Poop.
the Kuatoa, goddess of death. Sure.
Yep, she is a lobster-headed god.
Love it. Coralon, we've mentioned as well, as the elf deity, sort of like creator god sort of thing.
Yeah.
Deep Sashelas is the elf god of the sea, which is okay. I haven't read that one before, but it's in there. Iadro, merfolk deity of the sea. Yeah. Gald Glittergold is the gnome god of trickery and wiles.
I love that name.
Yeah, it's a proper gnome name. Grolantor is the hill giant god of war. Yeah.
I mean, I think if I remember correctly from like reading the monster manual and stuff, like the giant gods are literally like
just big giants.
Are just basically just like demigods of their main god. And I can't remember what they're called. It's very hard for me not to immediately leap back into like Norse mythology, which is the only kind of mythology know
well, there's
quite
some
well.
of the. I mean, there's a couple of other giant gods named on this page.
You've got like Suter, who's the
Surtur,
god of-
which is very close to a Norse one.
Yeah. I mean, Suter is a, if I remember correctly, a fire giant who's trapped in.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Norse deities here on this page, and it's got all Odin and all that and everything, and even on this, god of fire, giants, and war in the Norse bit. So that's pretty much been listed.
I mean, his whole deal is that he's like spending eternity in hell, forging a sword that he's going to bring down the walls of Asgard.
Yeah,
because that's cool.
And then that happened in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, spoilers.
Tying it back. Oh yeah, shit. If you haven't seen
Thor Ragnarok,
if you haven't seen the best Thor movie, what are you even doing?
It was a pretty good Thor movie.
Pretty good.
It was pretty awesome.
I'm not going to read all these out, but you got Grumsh as the Grumsh. There's two U's in it. As the Orc god of storms and war. There's a few more here that are little mini ones. Lolth we've said about. Moradin we've said about. Yeah, I don't know. There's a few there. Tiamat we're keeping.
Sehanine I quite like.
Yeah,
she's quite cute.
She's your.
Not as in like not.
I was gonna say
just I've really just put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah, you put your foot in that one.
Damn it.
Want some fan art of Liam and
please
a non-specific elf deity?
Please don't.
Nah. Just kidding.
God, he's gonna cut this out. I have to leave subliminal messages.
Yeah. But yeah, and I'm pretty happy with what we've come up with.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Not to put you under pressure, we have got a thing on these world building ones where I will at the end say like, "Hey, pitch me something random." If you haven't got anything, don't worry. But it's up to you.
It depends whether you want like funny or
funny is fine. We've come up with funny.
I mean, that's
before.
True. We have come up with like the Cult of Craig.
Yeah, the Cult of Craig. I'm on board with the Cult of Craig.
I'm kind of picturing it as like the Republic of Dave from Fallout 3.
Oh god, yeah.
Where
I haven't played that for a while.
Yeah, that's a throwback.
Yeah. Throwback Thursday.
I mean,
Cult of Craig.
The Cult of Craig. It's pretty.
They're like super benign, really. Because they're only lying to themselves as well as each other. Because to get closer to Craig, you not only have to lie to others, but to yourself. So there's a lot of people saying, like, "No, I can do this." Like, no, you can't.
You can't, man. Stop lying to yourself, or do? Why not? I mean,
if nothing springs to mind straight away, don't worry about it.
Well, the one thing I would kind of like to, it's more like what I thought, like my character wise, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
As in, like the one kind of temple that I've kind of thought about for the Raven Queen. So I don't imagine her having too many, unless it's like an actual like big graveyard. I don't imagine her having many like temples.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Particularly in an elf city.
I'm thinking it's more, as you say, like there might be an occasional shrine here and there by very devout people, but she's more a deity that is known about, but people aren't really psyched about worshipping her.
Yeah, there's no like organized religion for it.
No, except for like say your character.
Yeah,
there's a few spotted people here and there who maybe are more kind of like I say they're not based in any one place. They're kind of traveling.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how I'm looking at it. It's like
my idea for it was to have in the Elf City the only place that is considered the like temple. Is like a morgue.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But less like one where people are like, oh, this is a morgue devoted to the Raven Queen, and more just like it was established by her followers who just travel around.
Yeah, so that's kind of that. Not clubhouse. Clubhouse is the wrong word, but that's kind of their sort of like it's like a sanctuary for them to go.
Yeah,
and also it's a morgue.
Yeah, which is why I kind of like the idea of him somehow, details to come later, like stumbling onto it and just being like, what the fuck is this place? And then being like, who are you? This doesn't matter, and just carry on.
You're alive. What are you doing here?
And just essentially, and then just him like keep coming back, and the more he comes back, the more they start to teach him, and that's where he kind of becomes more.
I like it. Yeah, so you're pitching me the divine morgue of the Raven Queen.
Almost, yeah. Like it's not. Like they don't.
We won't call it that.
Like they don't hold sermons in it. They just literally just prepare dead bodies
It's
for burial.
It's literally a morgue.
It's literally just a morgue, but like they're really spiritual about it, and like they have this like deep-seated knowledge of the Raven Queen.
That's the closest they've gotten to like a temple, really. It's like,
yeah,
yeah.
That's what I kind of think about.
That's cool. Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah, and like all the like any kind of like literature that he's read, or like any kind of like knowledge he's been given, is either
there's a lot on there about washing your hands and
stuff. A lot about hygiene.
Yeah.
Just a lot about him. Just kind of like reading through these super ancient texts that aren't that aren't new or anything. They just carry them around because there's no library of the Raven Queen or her knowledge, or it's just hearsay from what they kind of have told him, and that's how he kind of like finds out that he is a Shadokai, and like his whole the whole purpose of his existence is to serve the Raven Queen.
This sounds like me. Like, yeah,
and
that's cool.
Yeah, and they're like, and then he's just like, but I don't want to do that. She fucking abandoned me. Why would I want to do that? And then they're like, well, no, you don't have to. That's the whole point. And then just carrying on. And he's just like, well, I'm not going to do it.
They're all
and
just like, dude, chill.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
Like to them, they don't care. Like if he's like, sure, he's technically sent from their god, but that like their god doesn't tell them to do things.
No, it's fine.
They just do it because they think it's like the right thing to do, kind of.
Yeah.
And then he just ends up joining them, and them just being like, yeah, sure.
Now go out and continue doing whatever you want, but take this cool black cloak.
It's a plague doctor mask.
Yeah, enjoy. Yeah, no, I like it.
But yeah, that's my non-hilarious
I like it.
thing
That's
I'd
cool.
like to add.
That's cool. Yeah, I hadn't really settled on anything in terms of like temples for the Raven Queen, because like we said, we kind of implied last time, like Raven Queen, and as you say, it's not hugely. There's not a massive temple anywhere.
Yeah, like she doesn't tend to kind of like reveal herself in like a messiah like fashion. She's just kind of like, I will give you the ability to go out and do my will, if you want.
People are going to die anyway.
Yeah, people are going to die anyway. Do you want to help like make that as an easy transition as possible, or do you want to be a dick about it and just complain?
Anyway. Do you want to kill people? No, I get it. I like it.
But yeah,
that's awesome. But yeah, thanks for joining me today.
That's okay. This has been amazing.
It's been fun. And now we've fleshed out our Pantheons bit.
Yay!
And I will eventually at some point get round to writing all those articles on. Well, I'll write a Pantheon article, I think.
Yeah.
That would be the quick way to do it.
We feel your pain. Every DM out there is
a lot of writing.
That hurts in the exact same place.
I have to write all this down now. Oh, God. Yeah.
Just hurts in the wrists.
But yeah, for everyone else, we'll be back next week with the conclusion of our Things from the Flood story.
Yeah.
It got the very eventful first part of that last week, so next week is the final chapter. And yeah, I don't know. We may have another bonus episode in 2 weeks' time, but stay checking out our social medias and stuff for news on that. Bonus ones, as you know, come and go whenever we can do them. But yeah, in the meantime, you can get in contact with us on Twitter and Facebook, with which we're at pretendwithdice. You can also email us at pretendingwithdice@outlook.com. You can join our Discord server. Come on there and see the dumb memes that we post.
Yeah. No such thing as dumb memes.
Yeah. It's like 90% of the posting on that server is us posting stupid memes.
That's what people come for.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's the selling point. But yeah, you can find the link to that on... it's a whole... I won't just say it out now because it's a whole bunch of letters and things. You know how Discord goes. But if you go onto our Twitter page, it is in the bio and it's also the pinned tweet. There's a link to that. So yeah, come along and hang out.
Show support for the Raven Queen.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much, that's going to be it, I think. So we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Always awkward at the end.
Oh, yeah.